Hello, good morning. My name is Terry Lee, and this is video 2 in our Memory Keeper video series. That's what I decided to call it because that's what it's going to be. Like I mentioned before, a friend of mine asked me to make something that she could keep these different sized envelopes of letters that her family had written to her daughter when her daughter was born for her to read when she was 18. And I thought that was a great idea. And so I took a while, and this is what I came up with, and I think this will work. We'll know when we're done, won't we? So what I want this to be is it's going to be for a young woman. She's going to be 18. I want it to be timeless, so I don't want it to be like Christmas or, whatever. And so I decided on denim and roses. And then I want it to hold the letters still in their envelopes. And so we're going to be making some long pockets on this. And I want a small book area for her mom to write in if she wants to between now and then. And I also want some little pockets for her to be able to put some memorabilia. I don't know if she has one of those little baby bracelets from the hospital. You know what I mean? I showed you the little coin envelope. Some different little things like that to incorporate in. We're going to have a small envelope stack, and that'll give her some pockets to put in some pictures. So the basic construction is 2/3 of the way done, and so it's 2 manila folders so far. We're going to need at least, I would say, 2 more. I know I said 3 in the first introductory video, but I had another thought. We know about me and my thoughts, right? So anyway, what's going to happen is these two are going to be attached together, and then you're going to open it this way, and then there's going to be a long pocket that you access from this side. Then you're going to open it up, and there's going to be probably a long pocket and then some other stuff. We're going to do the basic construction in the first couple videos, and then we're going to go back and decide on some other stuff. Then there's going to be a long pocket here. Then these two are going to be attached, but they're going to be attached in such a way that there's going to be a long pocket here. And then when you open it up in the second folder, there's going to be a big pocket here for like a big envelope, a long one. I made a gusset here, and that's where we're going to put our notebook in. And then on this side, we're going to have a long pocket. Then I'm thinking that I might want to add another one of these onto the back side, because I'm not sure how many letters that she has. I think she said about 10. And so I want to make sure there's enough long pockets that she doesn't have to double and triple them up. So I think we might make a third one and put it on the back. So then that would make this a long pocket here. And then if we attach another one to the back, that'll give another long pocket in between. And when you open up from the back side, then you'll have, the additional long pockets. So I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to make 2 of folder A and 1 of folder B. Okay, so we're not going to make the 2 A's together because I want to think about the design and make sure that I want to make 2 exactly the same, because I may not. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do folder A. So we're going to set folder B over here. We're going to put it off in exile land. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fold the manila folder in half. And I know it's kind of hard to do these because now you've got 4. Yes, I'm in my jammies. It's funny that I roll my sleeves up, but then I left my hand warmers on. but the sleeve ends are, the cuffs are kind of big, and I don't want to, it drags on the paper cutter. So let's try to get it as even as we can. You have to kind of finesse it a little bit, and then you have to kind of do like a hand in the Addams Family. Okay, that just shows how old I am. Okay, let's get that first, and then we're going to bone folder it, or use your ruler. If you have a metal ruler, that'll do it too. Okay, so now that I've folded it backwards, this is backwards. You know why? Do you kids know why? Because this is a right-sided folder and this is a left-sided folder. So I'm going to put it on pause and go get a right-sided folder. Okay, so now I'm back with the correct folder, which is the one with the tab on the right side. We're going to fold it in half so that the opening that is on the front, I'm going to fold it in half, and we're going to try to get everything lined up, like I said, you know, with the wrong folder. Like I said, it's a little early. And you know, I buy the manila folders 100 at a time, which you guys might think is crazy, but I print out a lot of kits, and each one of those takes a folder. Plus, you may have noticed that a lot of my projects are with manila folders and envelopes. I don't do a lot of books. I'll let Nick the booksmith do all the books. Okay, so now you'll notice this doesn't lay flat very well, and that's because there's too much bulk in here in the middle. So what we need to do is at the crease, you're going to want to cut out like a notch. So you're going to want to cut from one side of the crease all the way down to the fold, just to the fold, and then do the same thing on the other side all the way down. And it doesn't have to be that wide, as you can see here. This is how wide the notch is. It is only about a quarter of an inch. Wow. And I eyeballed that. It's a quarter of an inch exactly. So it's going to be about 1/8 on either side. Now, I opened mine up to do it, but you don't have to, but you just don't want to cut this part. You just want to cut this part, and you just want to cut straight. This is not a tapered cut like we did on the envelopes and things like that in some of the other projects, because we need to cut out the bulk. So if you want to, you know it's going to be inked, right? So, I mean, you're going to cut it out, so it doesn't matter. You can take your ink and kind of go lightly on the seam so you can see it. When I went to get the folder and I came back, I actually filmed all this part and then realized I hadn't put my microphone back on. So I don't remember whether I told you the color or not. This is Salty Ocean. So go ahead and laugh if I already told you that once in the first part of the video when I actually had my microphone on. So now we're going to cut right straight up along the crease. all the way up to the crease. And we're going to do it on the other side. Trying to get it lined up and it's not cooperating. It's difficult for me to cut on this side of something. I don't know about you guys, but one side is easier for me to see than the other. And it's better to cut it a little too close to the crease than to cut it way far. And try to kind of get it straight as you can. See, mine is kind of a taper. That won't hurt anything as long as the bottom is wide. So then you're just going to cut that off right there at the crease. And then that's going to give you this square notch. And that takes the bulk out. And so now when you fold it, we haven't glued it together yet, so this part might stick up, but it basically lays flat when you fold it. So that's what you want, is you want it to lay flat. If it doesn't, or if you have this little piece like I do, so I didn't cut that whole little bit off when we were cutting on the inside, you can trim that little piece. And then, and that's what you want. So now, through the magic of video, this one's been inked up. Now, so you're going to have to go ahead and ink. You're going to need to ink all around the edges now that you've cut it. And I'm sorry, I forgot again. You're going to need to, so that you can see into this pocket, you're going to need to, on this half, let's go ahead and number these. This is going to be A1. Then when you open it, this is going to be A2, A3, and A4. That will help. On the top of A3, we're going to cut 1 inch off of the top. It's easier to open it like this. Measure down 1 inch. Make a mark. Or just pretend. Put you're not supposed to see that part that I already did because I did it in video 1, and you'll be impressed with how well I cut it out. Now, actually, I should have measured down the inch on this side so I can make sure that it's straight. So let me do that. Because you want the long side to be able to be put up against, oh, like you can see it now, against this. That makes it sure that it's straight. So let's do that again. Let's go down 1 inch. I hate that the end of the ruler isn't the end of the measurement. Why do they have to go up 1/8 of an inch before they start? I have no idea. I'm going to write the ruler companies, all of them. Because I have nothing else better to do to take up my time. All right, so line it up straight. You'll see that I did this magic opening here. And now we've got the inch taken off. And now you can get into this long pocket much easier. Okay, so now the last thing that we need to do before we glue anything is to paper. Now, the reason we have to paper part of it now, before we get into the old decorating phase, is because we're going to be gluing these flaps shut. So once we glue them shut, it's going to be hard to get the paper in there to cover this area. I'm going to ink this a little bit more. You won't see it, but I just want to make sure I've inked down to where the paper's going to be. Okay. And don't forget to ink this top now that you've cut this off, now that I just remembered to tell you. Okay. You might want to do the same here for when we put the papers on. Doesn't have to be as dark as your edge. Kind of looks like water this way. Anyway, as a reminder, the kit that I'm using is Royal Blue and Roses. The two paper kits. One is the full-size papers, one is the journal papers, and then the two sets of ephemera. There's the ephemera set 1 and ephemera set 2. One's called Royal Blue, and then the journal, I believe, is called something else, Blue and Roses, but they're the same blues. So anyway, I digress. So what we're going to want to do, I'm going to show you as an example. Let's do the front first. I took a 2.5, this is only 2 inches because it's for the back. I took a 2.5 inch piece of paper that goes all the way across, and I laid it here, and then I flipped it over. And the reason it had to be 2.5, I did start out with 2, and then I went to 2.5 because you see this goes down quite a bit farther than the 2 inches, you know, that you would need. So I'm going to do 2.5 inches, put it in between, and it's going to be the width, right, that you need. And then I traced the tab all the way around, up, down, and all the way across. And then I cut the paper, and this is what I ended up with. Then I inked the paper. And then now we're going to glue the paper here. And I cut mine so that I could bring it down just a smidge. That was why I inked extra. And I'm going to glue it in like that so that when this is closed, there's paper up here. And not manila folder and not ink. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. Keep putting my pencil in my mouth. I don't think I can talk. Well, I actually can talk with my pencil in my mouth, but it probably is not helpful for you. I'm almost out of glue. It's making me crazy. My glue will be here tomorrow. I have about 1/3 of a bottle in here, but I hate waiting, and I hate the way the glue comes out when there's not at least... I know that looks like I'm doing a ton, but the glue isn't really coming out very well. And if I do the corners, if I put little smunchies, little kind of balls of glue on the corners, then it allows me to slide it around a little bit to get it lined up. That's why I don't do the middles as well. Fabrifix works really well, especially on paper. It's paper to paper, fabric to paper, fabric to fabric. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's where I want it. So I'm going to glue it down. Now we're going to do the same on the other side, but for this area here. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this before because I don't remember where I cut off when I went to get the folder, so I'm pretty sure I didn't. If you want to, you can do this one square, because you can just cover that little bitty notch with paper, and then when you glue the paper on the front, you just glue paper to paper on the corner and it covers it up. And I think that's what I'm going to do. On this side, you only need a 2-inch wide piece of paper. So, and you don't want to cover the whole thing up. You only want it the width of this part down here, because you want to see your ink. So we want to cut it, and we want it to be down just a little bit so we can see our ink. Well, then that's not going to work, is it? Are we going to have to cut our notch out? Possibly. So I want it right here. So I'm going to kind of eyeball it up and then make my mark. Probably if I put my pen back in my glue, I would have more luck with it. I'm always adding a little bit of acetone to thin it back out, because it keeps getting thick, because I keep forgetting to close it. Scrap. Keep your scraps. Keep your tabs. Just in case, you never know. You can toss your tabs at the end of the project. I have so many tabs right now saved. Once you have so many saved up, I mean, there's only so many tabs you might possibly need, because you're going to have more projects that you can cut tabs out and replenish your stockpile. Trying to think. So we've got it the width of here. If you don't want, oh, there you go. As long as you don't show the beginning of the notch, then you can do square to square. So that's what I'm going to do. She says confidently. And plus, if you save all your scraps, you can do your collage at the end. I just yanked my glasses off my face, taking my pencil out of my mouth. That's what I get for putting my pencil in my mouth, right? It's karma. Oh, the dog has seen something in the dark, because this is the time of year that it's still dark. I don't know what he thinks he saw. Maybe bunny. We have a bunny rabbit that hangs out. I can never get close enough to him to see if it is actually bunny. A year or so ago, the lawnmower guy actually accidentally flushed out a baby bunny. He was bigger, kind of on his own, but still a baby. And a rock from the lawnmower, I don't know how it did it, but it flew out from the mower and took its eye out. Just gone, eyeball gone. And I rescued it, and I kept it, and it was terrified. It wouldn't eat or drink. So I set it loose sooner than I wanted to, but I let it loose in the blackberry brambles. I thought that would keep it safer. I'm trying to remember how I did this to where I could do paper to paper. I'm going to do it like that. I'm going to commit. And now when we glue this up to make our pocket, and now we have paper here as well. And I can make up that little bitty space when I put the paper on this. Okay. So now that I've covered up everything. You can't see me smiling, but I am. And what did I do? I forgot to ink the paper before I put it on. Let's see if I can still get it off. All right. You have a little bit of dry time with Fabrifix as well. You guys didn't even remind me either. I couldn't hear any of you. There's probably a couple times the manila folder has hit my mic. I just realized that it just did it just now. So I apologize for that. Whenever I work with manila folders, it never fails that I flip it around and whack the mic with it. The mic on my webcam is not really very good, so I bought one of those mics, a lavalier mic, I believe they're called, that you pin on your, or clip on the front of your shirt. And it's really good, and I got it for $12, and it's a really good mic. But I am not used to it, and I keep whacking it with manila folders. I have a boom mic. I have a nice boom mic, but for some reason it picks up the mechanical kind of computer hum now. It didn't do it before. When I first got it, it was great. Worked on the laptop. I use my laptop when I'm doing these. I got a new computer, all-in-one, which most people would go, ah, but the only thing it has is a DVD drive, and the hard drive on it isn't that big. You just use it for installing programs. You don't use it really for saving any files. I have an external drive for that. I think that's crooked. What do you guys think? I think that's better. Okay, now I'm going to commit. I already committed. I committed to a bad thing. I didn't ink it. Okay. Now, we're going to glue the folders. And what we're going to do is we're going to glue these edges, but not the tops, just the edges. And that way it makes a big deep pocket. Okay? It's going to be easier to glue. See, I don't have very much glue in there. It's going to be easier to glue the actual folded down sides, I believe. And we need to see how far up we need to glue. So actually, we do want to glue them, but we want to glue them from, I had a hold of the wrong one, from here down. I don't want to glue it too far up. So I want to glue it from here down. And then I want to glue this one, or this side, from here down. It's going to be higher up. Now remember, however far in you glue, that's how wide your pocket's going to be. So you want to stay pretty close to your edges. I have things falling. You know, I'm always so coordinated. So there. And now we have a long pocket here to put letters in, or a letter in. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing on this side. Now this one is square, so we know that we're just going to do the length on both sides. And then we're going to fold it up. And that gives us a long pocket here for letters. Okay. Now, the only other thing you want to remember is that since this is going to attach, see, I told you I had stuff falling, to this, is if you want a closure on this, we have to remember to glue it before we glue them together. So I want you to make a mark about where you're going to want it. And I want you to draw a line. And I want you to write the word tie, T-I-E, so you don't forget. And I want you to write no glue. Don't put it where you're going to see it. Just write no glue, because we're going to make a pocket here too. And do it across there like that. Okay? That way you don't accidentally glue the top shut. And it's going to glue to B1. So you're going to want to write no glue here just in case we end up gluing on this side. And if you're going to want to tie this half shut, remember it's going to be like this. If you're going to want to glue or tie this side shut, then you're going to need a tie in here as well, so that you can tie it. Now we're going to have another section on here, so you may want to tie it. So you're going to want to go ahead and attach your tie on this side as well before we glue them together. So I just want you to make sure to write that down before we do anything else. And the last step that I have on here is to glue the closure onto A4, but I think we're gonna wait and do the closures at the step where we glue them together. That way we'll know how wide this one's gonna be, and then we can add extra to it. And so we're not gonna glue them together until we get done with B and C, and then also see if we're going to add D. And I'm going to show you a secret to where, well, I'm not going to give it away. So anyway, we've got this first part done, folder A1, or A, folder A, and then in the next video we'll make folder B, and then we'll make folder C, and then we will start decorating, okay, and adding pockets and things. Okay, so that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next video, and that'll be just a second for you, but a day for me. Bye-bye.